Welcome to Theory of Pets. I'm a passionate pet owner with a drive to help others like me uncover the truth about the pet industry and what goes on behind the scenes. Thanks for tuning in for another Theory of Pets podcast episode. I definitely get more questions related to pet food and nutrition than any other topic. I am constantly asked about choosing the right food for your dog, switching your dog's food if you feel like it's not working for them, many questions. And today I wanted to talk to a pet food expert who could help answer some of these questions for us and give us their perspective on certain ingredients and things like that. So I reached out to my friends at Redbarn Pet Products. They make a wide variety of premium natural dog and cat food, treats, and chews. There is a link to their website just below this product. There are tons of helpful tools from an ingredient dictionary, information about how to decode the label of pet foods. They have two different questionnaires basically that help you choose cat products and dog products, which one would be best for your dog, information on transitioning your dog to a new food, all kinds of wonderful information about pet food and nutrition on their blog. So I would encourage you, if you have questions or you aren't sure if you're getting a new dog and you're not sure about the nutrition to feed, or you don't think the nutrition that you're feeding your dog at this time or your cat is meeting their needs, jump on, do some research. Pet nutrition is so much about research, and a lot of pet owners don't understand that. You really need to take the time to look at some really high quality resources. Use some of the resources that you have in your network, your veterinarian, nutritionist. There are canine, feline, equine, whatever kind of animal that you're trying to feed. There are nutritionists out there. If there isn't one in your area, you can certainly look online, find somebody that is willing to consult with you via email or over the telephone. Get some help from somebody that knows what they're doing, what they're talking about, somebody with credentials. Listen to podcasts like this one. I reach out to experts in the industry, people that one of my most common guests on my podcast is Dr. Jennifer Adolph. She's the senior nutritionist for a company called Pet Curian that makes pet food. Today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be speaking to Lindsay. Tracy is her name. She's the director of new business and product development at Redbarn Pet Products. So, look for credible sources. Don't just listen to pet owners. Obviously, they have great first-hand advice to share, but every pet is different. Even if you're a dog owner and you're talking to other dog owners, every dog is different, from the breed and the size, the weight, the health condition, the activity level. There's so many variables that play into the nutrition that your pet needs that you really can't take advice from another pet owner. You need to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. They know how to help you figure out what the best nutrition for your dog is. And along with choosing the right food, you need to know about the ingredients, how to read the pet food label. Speaking of ingredients, there's so many different trends that are always constantly fluidly changing in the pet food industry. We're seeing a lot of the diets and the ingredients that are becoming common in the human food industry kind of leach over into the pet food industry. So things like the paleo diet, the raw food diet, vegan, vegetarian diets, those were popular with humans, and now they're becoming popular in the pet industry as well. A lot of times pet parents want to feed their pets the same type of diet that they eat, or it may be a health issue where, a dog has some sensitivities to protein and needs to eat a vegetarian diet, or has some skin allergy issues and needs to eat a diet without certain ingredients like grains or corn, soy, wheat, things like that. So it's really something that is unique to each individual pet. And today I'm speaking with Lindsay Tracy. Again, she is the director of new business and product development at Redbarn Pet Products. She's answering some of these questions that I've been kind of mulling around, and talks a little bit about their products that they offer, as well as, as I mentioned, they focus on premium and natural products. So why those types of things are important, why certain ingredients are are important to look for, why certain ingredients are important to stay away from. So the first thing I asked her was about choosing the right food for your pet. It can be so overwhelming. So I asked what steps she would recommend a new pet owner take when looking for the right diet. And she told me that bringing home a new pet is an exciting time, and pet parents are preparing for their new family members more than ever when they first begin to bring them home. So new and old pet parents can always benefit from asking their veterinarian for recommendations on healthy diets. It's important to remember to revisit these conversations as well, as nutritional needs can and will vary throughout the course of your pet's life. That's really important. A puppy or a kitten isn't going to need the same nutrition as a healthy adult dog or cat, and they're not going to need the same nutrition as a senior dog or cat. So it's important to remember that this is something that's fluid and always changing through the course of your pet's life. She says that it's also a good idea to ask your friends with pets about any good or bad experience that they've had with pet food choices. And when you do get close to selecting a brand, you should feel comfortable reaching out to their customer service team with any questions about their ingredients, sourcing, manufacturing product practices, things like that. Transparency is important to pet parents, and rightfully so. Redbarn, for example, is excited to see that pet parents reading their blogs and reaching out to their customer service team, that they're happy and they get their questions answered thoroughly, so they don't have any, wonders about the different product lines that they offer. And that's something that you really should be wary of, for that reason. As Lindsay explained, it is great that you get those questions answered and you don't have any underlying questions that you're not sure of when you switch to a diet. But also you have to ask yourself, if a company isn't transparent about, say, for example, the ingredients they use or where those ingredients come from or their manufacturing practices, what are they trying to hide? Why not be transparent with that information? Why would you make somebody call your customer service line to find out about the ingredients when you could easily print them on the packaging or on a website so that pet parents can get the information that they need? That's a big thing for me. Quite often, you'll see the ingredients aren't listed on the website, or it will tell you for more information, call their customer service line. You shouldn't have to go to those links. That information should be laid out for you when you're trying to make that decision of choosing a pet food. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops to figure that out. You should easily be able to get on a company's website, figure things out, be able to compare with other companies. So I think that's a really important point that Lindsay brought up. I also asked her, when you're looking at the ingredient list, what should pet parents be looking for and what should they stay away from? Because that's a common question that I'm always asked. People kind of want that little short list of, these are the top things to stay away from and these are the top things that you should be looking for. And Lindsay told me many tricks that we use when quickly scanning the nutrition label in the grocery aisle can also be applied to pet food. Putting down products with overwhelmingly long ingredient lists, unrecognizable ingredients at the top of the list, excessively high calorie counts, etc. Those things, when you pick up a product that you're going to feed to your human family and you think, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce any of these ingredients, I have no idea what this stuff is. Say for example, you're buying a can of chili or some kind of prepared food with meat in it, and meat isn't on the list. You don't see beef. You see all of these processed things, or substitutes or things like that. You instantly put those products back on the shelf. You don't want to feed yourself or your family members, your human family members, those foods. So why would you want to do the same for your pet? Lindsay told me you should look for real meat, fish, or poultry as the first ingredient and avoid foods with artificial flavors, chemicals, or preservatives. Pet foods do usually need to have a long shelf life in order to be sold in pet stores, but there are many natural preservatives that companies can use. Some of Red Barn's preferred natural preservatives include citric acid and potassium sorbate, and a lot of times when you look at pet food ingredient labels, where it says citric acid, in parentheses it will say that this is a natural preservative. So it might list potassium sorbate and then in parentheses say natural preservative, so that even though you don't recognize potassium sorbate, you know what it is without having to do lengthy research or get on the company's website. So look for those natural preservatives, natural flavors, natural colors, things like that. Stay away from the long laundry list of words that you can't pronounce. Speaking of ingredients, there is a growing trend in superfood ingredients in the pet industry right now. As I mentioned, a lot of things start in the human food industry like superfoods, and they kind of leach over into the pet food industry. So I asked Lindsay what superfoods for dogs are and why pet owners should consider a diet that includes these ingredients. And she said, just as they work in people, superfoods for dogs are natural ingredients that provide health promoting or energy boosting benefits. You'll commonly hear superfoods called functional ingredients within the pet industry. They go hand in hand. They're high quality ingredients, they're real food ingredients, natural ingredients, and they provide some kind of a health benefit to your pet. Found outside of a carnivorous diet, superfoods for dogs not only add new flavors and textures to their everyday food, but they can also nourish their skin and coat, aid in digestion, boost their immune system. Some really powerful benefits to adding superfoods to a pet's diet. Some examples of superfoods for dogs you can find right in your own kitchen or easily in a grocery store are blueberries, cranberries, salmon oil. All of those superfoods also are found in Redbarn products. So that's something, again, when you're looking at a company, looking at the quality of the ingredients and what benefits they offer your pet. Not just that they're including fruits and vegetables, but they're including some of those really top key superfood ingredients that can have some really powerful benefits for your pet. I also talked to Lindsay about superfood ingredients that might be in your own kitchen. For example, blueberries or cranberries or different kinds of oils, coconut oil. You might have that right in your kitchen. So a lot of times pet owners will ask me, can I just throw some blueberries on top of my dog's food? Can I just mix these ingredients in with their regular diet and get the same benefits? And Lindsay told me that most pet parents can't resist those puppy eyes when it comes to sharing a bite or two of their dinner, of course. Superfoods like blueberries and cranberries are great choices when you feel like treating your dog to a surprise without having to visit the pet store. They're great natural treats for your pet, and as long as your pet can safely eat and digest the food, pet parents can hand feed superfoods or even place them on top of kibble like a food topper to treat their dog to a tasty, healthy snack. Like people, though, dogs do have allergies, so she always recommends talking to your veterinarian beforehand. The other thing that you have to remember when it comes to adding superfood ingredients to your dog's diet is when you go with a commercial company like Redbarn that includes superfoods, they also have to comply with certain pet food standards to make their foods nutritionally balanced for pets. So if you're buying a cat food, it's nutritionally balanced for the type of animal that it's made for. So maybe it's kittens or adult cats. Some cat foods are good for all life stages, but it's nutritionally balanced and they have to live up to those standards and have their products tested for that. If you are feeding a quality diet already and you're adding a bunch of superfoods to it yourself, that can actually make too many nutrients, and an overabundance of nutrients in your dog's diet can actually be just as harmful as a nutrition deficiency. So you need to be careful and balance it out. If you're adding those foods to your dog's or cat's diet by free feeding them, things from your kitchen, be sure that you're doing that as treats only and you're not trying to add those to their diet on a regular basis in larger quantities. If you are looking to add those types of ingredients to your pet's food to boost their nutrition and make sure that it's a balanced meal for them, look for a company like Redbarn that includes those in their nutritionally balanced pet food recipes. One of the most common things that I talk to people about, and this goes for, in my professional life as a writer and a blogger and a podcaster and a YouTuber, I do a lot of things in the pet industry. And in every realm of my professional career, as well as personally, I have friends and families always asking me about pet food recalls. We hear about them all the time. It seems like at least once a week, there's something in the news about a pet food recall, whether it's dog food, cat food, treats, chews. There are there have been numerous recalls in recent years. We've been hearing a lot of backlash about pet products that are coming from unsafe countries like China that don't have the regulations on their pet food like the United States does. So I asked Lindsay why it's important for pet owners to know where their pet food and its ingredients come from. Now, she had talked a little bit earlier when I had asked her about the steps that you should take when choosing the right food. She talked about transparency and knowing where, not just what ingredients are in your food, but where they're coming from, where are they sourced from, and why is that so important? This is something that I try to relay every time somebody asks me about dog food recalls. I get up on my soapbox and I explain to them that this is really something that's our responsibility as pet owners, and it's very important. And Lindsay said that there's been an ever-growing interest in the country of origin for pet food since the devastating pet food recall involving melamine from China back in 2007, which was 11 years ago. So it seems like it's kind of new to be hearing about all these pet food recalls, but it's really been going on for quite some time, and the interest continues to grow a little more every year. And you combine that with the humanization of pets the past few decades, and pet parents are overwhelmingly more interested in the well-being of their pets, their four-legged family members. We love our pets like they're a member of our family. Just because they're not human doesn't mean that they're not part of our family, and we're taking an ever-growing interest in their care and their nutrition. Just like all living creatures, our dogs and cats need proper nutrition. That means food that doesn't simply fill them up, but fuels them so they can lead happy, healthy lives. One of the biggest complaints, or certainly probably the biggest complaint from pet owners, is that our pets just don't live long enough. Wouldn't it be nice if they could live as long as we do? But they don't. We want to extend their lives as much as we can, keep them as healthy as possible for as long as possible. And the number one way to do that is through nutrition. Lindsay says that many pet parents want to buy made in the USA consumables. And when I say made in the USA, that is in quotations. Made in the USA does not necessarily mean from the USA, and you need to keep that in mind. So with that ever-growing want to buy products made in the USA, there are many great options out there when we're seeing more come on the market every day. However, simply sourcing ingredients from America does not mean it's the finest of ingredients. While all farmers, for example, have to follow certain laws, some choose to feed cows grains while others choose grass. Pet parents should dig a little bit deeper than the country of origin to understand a food's true nutritional value. And this is a tip that Lindsay shared with me that I really feel passionate about as a pet parent myself. She says that a great example is bully sticks. One of the most popular dog treats is bully sticks. We're hearing about them more and more. They're healthier and better for your dog than rawhide, so a lot of parents have switched to bully sticks in recent years. Lindsay says that unfortunately the U.S. is not a top producer of grass-fed, free-range bulls for bully sticks. After forming lasting partnerships with cattle farmers in South America, for example, the Redbarn co-founders, Jeff and Howie, purchased a manufacturing plant in Paraguay in 2004. Owning and operating the plant means that Redbarn is able to adhere to USA safety standards, while partnering with South African farmers allows them to produce premium grass-fed bully sticks at an affordable price. So look into where your ingredients are coming from in your pet food, certainly, but also dig a little bit deeper. And as I mentioned, it goes hand in hand with transparency. All of this information that I'm giving you about Redbarn, I'm using them as an example because all of their information is on their website. You can get on, and when you see that they're bully sticks, that the ingredients for the bully sticks are sourced from South America, you might think to yourself, well, it doesn't come from the USA, so I don't want to purchase these. Well, it doesn't come from the USA, but there's a reason behind that, because the USA isn't a leader in producing grass-fed, free-range bulls, and that's what Redbarn was concerned with, not necessarily making their products from products sourced in the United States, but making their products with top quality ingredients. So look at that. Obviously, China is a worrisome country right now. When you see that something is sourced in China or made in China, pet parents are leery about that. But there are other countries like Canada, like South America, that are making high quality pet products made with really top quality ingredients. You just have to look for that information. And again, that goes hand in hand with transparency. You should not have to dig around. You shouldn't have to make phone calls to get that information. It should be on the packaging, or it should be right on the company's website. So again, if you want a great example, Red Barn is a perfect example. You can scroll down below this podcast to find a link to their website and all the beneficial information that they have for all of pet owners, and you can also see the information that they have on their treats and their food for both cats and dogs. If you're looking to see, what kind of information should be on a site, Red Barn is a prime example. So check their site out. And again, their blog is great. They have some great questionnaires to help you choose the right products for your cat or your dog, information on ingredients and reading product labels and things like that. So great information just for all pet owners to have on there as well. So I really need to thank Lindsay Tracy. She was a big help answering these questions for me. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer, or you're looking for a little more information, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can for you. Also, if you enjoy this podcast, if you could take just a second to leave me a quick review, that would be great. When I reach out to companies like Red Barn or experts in the industry like Lindsay, I really like to show them that you guys are out there and you're listening and you're really enjoying the podcast yourselves. So if you could take just a second to leave a review, that would be great. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. I will be back with another hot topic very soon.